Good morning. I always have to check the clock to see if it's actually still the morning, because breakfast for me is kind of like at lunchtime, usually. I woke up this morning with the biggest craving for, and I don't know why or how. I was gonna say or when, but it was this morning. I woke up this morning with the biggest craving for fried banana. I have no idea why. I haven't ever had fried banana. I've never made fried banana. I must have dreamt about fried banana and or some kind of banana, because this craving is hitting hard. So yeah, they need to be made. They need to be made, and you know when Miles says something needs to be made, it's made properly. There's gonna be granola, which I might actually make myself, but you'll find out in like a few minutes. Thick creamy coconut yogurt, fried caramelized bananas, which I'm gonna top with something very spectacular. You would think with the confidence that I've made this before, but I actually have no idea what I'm doing. But you also know it's going to taste absolutely incredible. Desiccated coconut. Love myself a dried cranberry. Mmm. Beautiful. This is actually the organic crunchy one from Waitrose, which I love. That was quite a lot. Some maple syrup. I was like, do I want to put a bit of coconut oil in? And I do. Alright, I changed my lighting and I think you can see it better that way. And I know you all thought that I was going to drizzle this with peanut butter, but and I'm gonna lick the lid. Granola turned out perfect. I'll actually leave the recipe down below. And fuck me, fried bananas, definitely a regular for me now. The coffee shop options around here, big pile of shit. Apart from one place I found called Staple. Went there the other day, they make good coffee. They make good coffee, let's go. Yeah, can I take chocolate peanut butter cookie? These might have a single shot marker. Have you got the kind of shot?
I've got an almond. What's on left?
Yeah, that.
Yep. Sit it in, I'll take it away. There you go. Thank you.
I've always said this, but as someone that's half Persian, but I really feel like it's one of the most underrated cuisines in the world. Don't get your hopes up, I'm not about to make some elaborate, delicious Persian dish in this video anyway. I feel like I need to get my dad on the channel to actually learn like the authenticity behind properly making everything. And that's the thing, it's such a fragrant cuisine, much more so than others I feel that get celebrated. Like in the UK, for example, we have so many Indian and Thai and Turkish and Chinese and Italian restaurants, which I love. All of those cuisines are incredible, but I don't feel like Iranian food gets the credit that it's due. Just because when it comes to the flavors, the aromatics, it's not a spicy cuisine like blow your head off like Indian type things, like Mexican type things, like, you know, but it's more the balance of spices and flavors, which I adore a lot. And I've always said this, that it's the next cuisine to kind of hit big just because of how fucking delicious the food is. And I'm very glad that social media is kind of finally catching on. And I find it funny that, actually wait there, mini cukes. I find it interesting that all of the things that the oversaturated tacky world of food influencers on Instagram and TikTok has finally caught on to the things that we're obsessed with, like in both Persian cuisine and general Middle Eastern cuisine. For example, if you think about the three biggest crazes of this year, like pistachio everything, pistachio chocolate, Dubai this, Dubai that. But in Iranian cuisine, everyone's obsessed with pistachio nuts, and actually it's a big thing in all Middle East cuisine. And many of their like pastries, flaky things, desserts, all done with pistachio, so that's great. The second one is crispy rice. You know how you see everyone putting rice on a tray, putting some kind of sauce on it, and then putting it in the oven to crisp up, right? That's what we call tadik. Tadik in Farsi means kids who fight to the death over the last bit of crispy rice at the bottom of the rice cooker. That's what it stands for. It doesn't actually, it stands for crispy rice. But we've always been obsessed with that crispy, oily rice at the bottom. And I mean it when I say Persian kids. Anyone that's watching this that's Persian, please like verify my words down below. Third thing is, the whole world is obsessed with cucumber now. I mean, it's been like that for the last year or two. I watched one cucumber salad tutorial on my Instagram feed, and now I go on my explore page and everything is cucumber salad. And all the cucumber salads are the same. Which I love, but again, cucumbers are something that, especially for Persian cuisine or just Persian people, we can't live without. Like, we physically get withdrawals and get very sick if we don't eat a lot of cucumbers on a regular basis. So I'm also glad that this half of the world is gradually catching up on that too. Speaking of cukes, I'm making the most delicious crunchy salad, which is actually extremely simple. And I think there's something to be said about crunchy food in general. Like, I don't talk about it enough, but I feel like, number one, for people that are stressed, we need something crunchy to munch on. And also crunchy teeth. Crunchy food is very good for your teeth, and I feel like people just eat mushy food these days and then complain that they don't have strong teeth. But for me, there is something about a very crunchy salad with a very nice sweet and salty dressing, then stuffed in a hot pita pocket with some sriracha tofu. Yeah, cucumber everything in Iranian cuisine. Cucumber everything. And also it's funny because I felt like I've never made sriracha tofu before, and I don't know why I wanted to make sriracha tofu. This morning in the store, I was buying tofu and sriracha, like ready to make my own. But then jokes aside, it is so bad, or it's a shame that I don't like tempeh, because I mean, it is so much higher in protein and healthier if you ask me, but it's the look and the texture of brain, I still find it a bit too gnarly. Anyone else with me on that? Good, crunchy, organic carrots. I always stress organic, as you know, only with carrots, because it's a completely different vegetable. And I will never budge on that. That clatter, listen to this. When I tell you that this is neither a white onion or a purple one, this is a hybrid onion, I'm assuming. It's a pink onion. Beautiful. I really do love myself onions. I absolutely love onions. It's a weird statement, but I really fucking appreciate the onion. And as a herb, we are using lots and lots of fresh coriander. And again, this is not just a garnish. This is, I use herbs as a main character player, you know? Alright, for the dressing, we want crunchy peanut butter, sweet chili sauce, and juice of 1 fresh lime. These turned out perfectly crispy. The good thing about this salad is that it doesn't wilt, so you can make a big batch, put it in the fridge, enjoy it for the next few days. And actually it starts to taste better because the flavors, they kind of mingle and marinate and, you know, they do their thing. I'm aware this is not the most aesthetic meal, but it's not supposed to be. It's meant to be stuffed in a pitta pocket and then stuffed in your face. Cheers. The flavour of the tofu bangs as well. You can never have enough sauce. If my eyes look a little bit red, it's not because I smoked, although I wish it was a huge joint. It's because yesterday we went to a sweat lodge, which I wanted to speak about this at some point because I'm actually looking for auditions. I mean, you don't have to audition, you just have to agree to go with me. Because I feel like everyone I've taken so far, or rather everyone that I've suggested it to so far, has chickened out. And I mean everyone. I mean professional athletes, 2 MMA fighters, just people that do a lot of tough shit. And then I've told them about the sweat lodge and they're like, hell no. For those of you that don't know, because I really suggest that you all experience one in your life, if you're able to, like health-wise, if you don't have any heart conditions, all of that kind of stuff. Think of it this way, a sweat lodge, I mean, it's traditionally done like in the mountains of Peru, I believe, somewhere in South America. Think of it as like a very, very hot sauna on steroids, and you can't get out for hours in the pitch black with no water. And you wonder why no one wants to come with me. No, but on a serious note, it is that, right? It's supposed to kind of, I mean, for me, I've done things like trained in heat chambers in my life, right? Like when I was playing professional sport. So it's not abnormal for me to push myself beyond, you know, normal physical measures. I think I've done 4 or 5 now, but oh my gosh, every time it tests the hell out of me in some kind of way. Again, like I've trained in heat chambers. I know that even with physical pain, very hard training, I can not numb out, but I can disassociate from the pain in a way that just allows me to keep going. I feel like anyone that's been in a high level of something physical, you know what I'm talking about. For me, the test is, again, you can get out, there are 4 rounds basically, like each round lasts around, probably, I mean, I have no concept of time, so probably 15, 20, 25, maybe 30 minutes in the pitch black, throwing water on the hot coal, right? So it gets hotter and hotter and hotter till the point where sometimes it's so humid you can barely even breathe. They have, you know, incense in there and stuff like that, hence why my eyes are still burning a bit. And usually I lose about, no exaggeration, like 5 to 6, 7 kilos of sweat. I sweat so much. I go in like a grape, come out like a raisin. For me, more than a physical challenge, it's more a challenge of being comfortable enough to let the person that's guiding it just be in control of when you can get out, when you're allowed to drink water, when you can breathe. That's the part. It's just surrendering over control, and that's something I'm learning to get better at. I wanted to share that with you because they're becoming quite big in the UK now, and I feel like anyone that has the mental capacity to do it should challenge themselves with it if you have one near you in the UK or anywhere in the world where you're watching this from, because even though it can be very unearthing, uprooting and extremely challenging in the moment, afterwards it's very, very, very medicinal, therapeutic. And another thing is, I will say this, you know, there are not many things I would be like, oh yeah, I would lose at that, or I would come second, or I wouldn't come first. One place where I know I'm way out of my league is challenging my girlfriend, challenging Jill, with heat. There's just no way. Again, I've trained in heat chambers growing up. She would outlast me in heat 100 times out of 100. I'm going to admit for the first time on camera that I'm second best at something, and that's because my girlfriend can outlast me in the heat. But you know what as well? I looked this up. It's a scientific fact that women have much, like regardless of health, fitness, strength, whatever, but women in general have a much higher tolerance for extreme heat. Which kind of makes sense if you think about what women's bodies have to actually go through in this life compared to our basic asses. Asses, you know what I'm saying.
so many perfect ones. Caramelized.